Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to give you your February 2016 mid-month reading. I am using the Gilded Tarot deck, drawing 8 cards for the month, 2 cards for each week, with an additional card as your overall theme and general feeling for the month, your crowning card. These are general readings, so if they don't apply or resonate the same with everyone who watches, I suggest you check your rising and your moon sign as well. Special thank you to those of you who continue to reach out for personal readings. I enjoy doing them so much. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for keeping me so busy with those. I am doing readings full time now, so I can usually work you in, at least for the time being, between 24 and 48 hours. So if any of you are interested in personal readings, you can click on the About sign on my channel's homepage, and that will give you a little more detail and information about myself, the services I offer, and my contact information. And you can email me at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I am running a few different specials on love readings this month in honor of Valentine's Day, the month of love. Not that any other month isn't, we just tend to focus on it a little more this month because of Valentine's Day. And a special thank you to those of you who continue to watch and listen and subscribe to my channel. Your feedback and your comments, both on my YouTube channel and through email, are so positive and uplifting, and I thank you very much for those. I love hearing how the videos resonate for people, so keep it coming, and thank you very much. So let's get right into this. This reading is for Scorpio for February 2016, mid-month. Scorpio, February 2016, mid-month. What does the remainder of February hold for my little singers? Scorpio, February 2016, mid-month. February 2016, mid-month. So we begin with the Judgment card, followed by the 8 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, followed by the 4 of Cups, the 3 of Cups, followed by the 7 of Wands, and the 4 of Wands, followed by the Star card. And the card that represents the general theme and overall feeling of the remainder of February 2016 from the bottom of the deck is the Ace of Swords. Interesting. So let's take a look at this, Scorpio. Okay, let's begin. We start with the Judgment card in the upright, Major Arcana card, followed by the 8 of Pentacles. So the Judgment card, a Major Arcana card, Fingers of the Divine, as I like to call them, very significant, profound card, and pretty serious too, not in a negative way, don't get scared. The Judgment card is a call to action. It also speaks of whatever it is that you're doing or decisions that you're considering, to be very thoughtful and careful about them, your actions, the things that you do, the things that you say. Again, if you're in the middle of a decision-making process or something of some kind, the Judgment card speaks to being very careful about what you decide, careful about your actions, because the outcome and the consequences will have significant and long-lasting and profound effects. I always, even though Judgment and Justice are both Major Arcana cards, I always look at Judgment as a little bit of a jump up from that, a little more serious thread. We have this major angel here who's blowing the horn of judgment. It's a call to action. This is a card that also says, speaks to if ever there was a time to stand up for what you believed in, now is the time. Whatever you do from here on out regarding this situation, or whatever it is that you end up going through or addressing at the end of February 2016, that it's really going to set the stage for you for quite some time to come. If you are perhaps working on something or considering something that has anything to do with your personal honor and integrity, the Judgment card speaks of your actions and intentions and decisions really kind of setting setting your character, setting the path for how you choose to live your life ethically and morally for quite some time to come. And it points towards the effects, the consequences, the outcome being profound, significant, and very long lasting, implying that it would be a difficult, if not impossible, decision to come from whatever it is that you're doing, working on, or considering. It's a wonderful card to have, in the upright position, but it does speak of, it has kind of a serious, profound sort of feel to it. If you're trying to make a decision about something, or there's something important that you're working on, the Judgment card says it's going to have a significant, profound effect, and it's going to set the stage for something, a foundation for something for quite a long time to come. And the Judgment card is accompanied by the Eight of Pentacles. Now, Pentacles, the element is that of Earth, and Pentacles is a suit that points towards our usually things in our earthly, tangible environment, things we can see and touch and feel. Most often, it's things like finances, money, resources, job, assets, property, things like that, tangible things. And the Eight of Pentacles is a card I like to refer to as the worker bee card, because that's what this guy is doing. He's working so hard. This is about the successful building up of a foundation of something, piece by piece, step by step, pentacle by pentacle. You can see there are 7 pentacles dancing above this man's head. He has worked very hard and diligently on each one before carefully stowing them away. And he is hard at work on the 8th one, very diligent, very driven, very determined, very responsible and reliable. You can see that the sun is setting outside and the candles are already burning at his desk. Perhaps some of you have been burning the candles at both ends and working very hard. He is still at his desk even though the sun is setting and the candles are burning. He is still at his desk working very hard and very diligently on this 8th pentacle. And again, it speaks of the successful building up of something. You've built up quite a foundation. You've been working very hard on something. And the Eight of Pentacles speaks of doing that in a very successful manner, very responsible, driven, reliable. Maybe when everyone else is partying and having fun, you're the one still at your desk working on whatever this thing is, whether it's your job or a project of some kind, something you're really invested in and you believe in, and that you've been working on it for quite some time and successfully building a foundation for that. And Scorpio, I think that this combination of cards, the Judgment card and the Eight of Pentacles, speaks that this thing that you're working on, whatever it is that you're putting all this effort and time and work into, that it's going to have a very significant and profound effect in some way. I don't exactly know what. It's going to resonate differently for different Scorpios who are watching this, but I feel like this has a combination. I think some of you are working on something really important. I don't know if it's maybe if you're a lawyer, it's a court case. Or if you're an advocate, it's advocating for somebody. You're working on something important at work. But the Judgment card has an underlying implication. This is something that has to do with working very hard on something that you feel you're right on, something important that's almost, I keep getting moral integrity, ethics somehow, that whatever it is that you're working on has something to do with your integrity, your honor, morals of something important on something that you really believe in, that has something to do with being in the right, in the good, in terms of capital letters good sort of thing, which is interesting. So let me just look at that for a minute. And I think for those of you who may be working very hard and very long and very diligently at this thing and maybe feeling kind of tired as well, the Judgment card speaks of, you've been very successful. Don't forget how successful you've been at this thing, and don't forget how important it is that what you're actually doing, what you're working on, has meaning. It's going to lay the foundation for something important. It's going to set the stage both for you and if there's anybody else concerned with it, for them as well. And not to forget how important it is and how successful and how hard that you've been working on it. So good for you. Again, I'm just getting the strong feeling it's something very important that's actually meaningful. So they are followed by the Ten of Wands, followed by the Four of Cups. So the Ten of Wands. Wands, the element is that of air and fire. And when you think of air and fire together, it's a very dynamic combination. Lots of movement, lots of heat, lots of passion. And that's exactly what the Suit of Wands points toward. Change, movement, action, power, passion, creativity, very dynamic, very action-oriented suit. And tens, the Ten of Wands, tens also represent the ending of a cycle, the culmination of something, the wrapping up of something, the being at the end of something. And the Ten of Wands speaks of being at the end of some kind of burden. And again, you've got this Eight of Pentacles. It's something you've been working on, something very hard. You've been pouring a lot of yourself into time, money, energy, resources, and you're just about at the end of it. The Ten of Wands represents that. And I always get this feeling you're almost at the end where you can lay this burden down. This man, it's been so heavy. The implication is that he's walked a long ways. His burden has been so heavy. It's so heavy that he can't even stand up straight when he's walking because it's just so heavy. It's weighed him down so much. There's so much to carry. Perhaps a lot of you have been working so hard, putting so much of yourself into this thing. It feels like there's been so much to it and you're just so tired. You've been carrying it for so long. But the implication of this card, I always feel like he's looking up, he's bowed over, but he's looking up. And I always feel like home or his end place is right here. And he's looking up and it's like when a horse smells water, they always pick up speed because they know they're just about there. You're just about there, Scorpio. Whatever it is that you've been working so hard, putting so much of yourself into, that's so important. It's so profound and significant in whatever way it is for those of you. You're almost at the end where you can lay this down. You can put the burdens down. You can take your shoes off and put your feet up because it looks like it has been a burden. And for some of you, it may have just been very, it could be something that you've been kind of maybe getting bored with as well because the Ten of Wands is followed by the Four of Cups. Now, cups, the element is that of water, and cups is a suit that points towards our emotions, our emotional landscape, both inner and outer, our emotional atmosphere. It can point towards love, relationships, how we relate to the people around us, and how we relate to ourselves as well, our interpersonal relationships. And the Four of Cups is sometimes a card about boredom and ingratitude and of not noticing, of taking things for granted, maybe not noticing the things that are right beside you, right in your sphere that you have, or things that are right in front of you or being offered to you. You can see this man is reclining back in the grass. There are three goblets beautiful goblets in the grass beside him, all upright, all full, but he's not noticing them. He's not paying attention to them. They're already there. They're ready for him. He can drink out of them. He can sample what they have, but he's not looking at them. He's not noticing them. And this can also point to maybe taking some of the things in your life for granted, or it could be that you've been so focused on this thing, it's been such a burden that somewhere along the way you've forgotten to take care of yourself, and take pleasure in the things around you, maybe including even the people in your environment, just because you've been investing so much of yourself in this thing and so focused on it. So be careful about that, Scorpio. Watch out for that. And also there's a goblet being handed to him out of the sky, almost as if the implication is a divine gift of some kind. But he doesn't look particularly enthusiastic or excited about it. And again, I feel like combined with this Ten of Wands, directly following this Ten of Wands, Scorpio, I think it's less of I'm grateful and I'm bored, more than it's just a sense of weariness, of exhaustion, maybe of lassitude, and maybe a little bit of apathy. But I think it's just because you've been carrying this burden, you've been working so hard, investing yourself in this thing for so long, that you just reached a place around the middle of February where you're just like, oh, I just want to lay it down. I want to be done with it. I don't want to take anything else. I just want to be done with it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. So directly following that, we have it does pick up quite a bit. Directly following that, we have the Three of Cups. Cups, again, that emotional watery suit. And the Three of Cups is the card of celebration. You can see that there are three women dressed in beautiful gowns, dancing up in the air, waving their banners over three goblets that are overflowing into each other. And this is the card of celebration. I've heard it referred to by some people as the party card, but it does have a deeper significance than that. It represents the celebration of something. And again, it looks like this thing that you've been working on that seems to have some significance and importance, a lot of significance and importance. It feels like you've been carrying it for a while. It's been such a burden. You're just so tired. You want to lay it down and not do anything for a while. But there's because it's a Ten of Wands, you reach the point where you're at the end of it. You're almost at the end of it. And it's time to actually celebrate which is what the Three of Cups represents. It represents the celebration of something. It also represents being with people in whose company you really like, you really feel comfortable with, you really have a lot of fun with. This can also speak of taking pleasure and joy in the simple things around you. And I think following the Four of Cups, because there is an element of taking things around you for granted, or just being so worn out and so burdened that you're not noticing the blessings that are still in your life. I think there's an underlying piece of advice to this card too, especially following that Four of Cups, to not forget to do that, to not get so overwhelmed and so burdened that you forget to notice the blessings in your life, both those things that are tangible assets and people as well. So the Three of Cups is accompanied by the Seven of Wands, wands, that fiery, passionate, action-oriented suit. And the Seven of Wands is, I always see as primarily a defensive card, but it's also a card of standing up for what you believe in, of standing by, standing ground, holding the fort, fiercely defending that which you believe in. You can see that this man is standing in front of the door of his castle, his keep, his whatever, his thing, this project, this thing that you've been working on that's so important, that's so significant, that seems to have such a high moral value to it. You've been working so hard, you're defending this thing. Whatever this is, it's something that you have invested so much of yourself in, all this time, this energy, that you feel a sense of ownership on it because you've poured so much of yourself into it, and you have felt, you either feel or have felt that it was being threatened in some way, or that this was an issue you felt so strong and you really needed to defend. This can speak of speaking your truth, not being afraid to speak your truth, of standing by what you believe in, standing up for what you believe in. Again, that Judgment card, that call to action. If ever there was a time, now is the time, Scorpio. And just standing by this thing, standing by this thing that you believe in, that you've been believing in. That it looks like it's cost you quite a bit, but it's still something that's so important, and you're defending it, you're standing by it. And it's a cause for celebration because you have reached, it looks like somewhere in the last part of February, maybe in the third week going into the fourth week, um, there's some kind of manifestation of this paying off, all this hard work, this burden, this thing you've been working on that seems to have such huge in, integrity. There's some kind of moral value, some moral significance to it, something you really feel strongly about, a cause, or advocate for somebody or a group or something like that. And you're able to reach a celebratory point because you have defended it, you have stood by it, you didn't give up, you didn't lay down, you stuck by it faithfully. So good for you, Scorpio. Now, at the end of the month, at or towards the end of the month, we have the Four of Wands, beautiful card, with the Star card, one of my favorite cards in the deck. And the Four of Wands, it speaks of things working out better than you actually anticipated them to. Not that you didn't anticipate things turning out well, but this actually points to an expansion of that success. Things working out in a far better way than you could ever imagine. Unexpected blessings, something that you're already looking at. And again, we just had this Three of Cups celebration, Seven of Wands combination. It looks like whatever it was that you were celebrating, this thing that you've been investing in, it actually turned out to work out better than you could have ever anticipated, but in a kind of unexpected way, because there's an element of unexpected blessings or unexpected positive expansion or growth or an adding on to something. And there's also a strong feeling of it benefiting your family or the people around you, or somebody or somebodies that you care about very much. And it kind of makes me wonder, for some of you, this is going to resonate as, this thing you've been working on is an organization that benefits people, or an advocate that helps people in need or that can't speak for themselves, or if you're a lawyer working on, some kind of issue about people's rights or something. I don't know exactly. It's going to resonate differently for different Scorpios. But it looks like there's an element to whatever um, this added and unexpected blessings and success, benefiting not only you, but the people closest to you, someone you care about, or even just your own family, an expansion and a growth of that in an unexpected and blessed sort of way. And that at the end of the month, this leaves you kind of almost with your faith and hope restored, because we have the Star card. And I, I see this card come up for people when when they're in a healing phase or kind of at the end of maybe a long therapy, or they've been through some kind of traumatic or even cataclysmic sort of event, or something that's just felt very challenging or even painful, and it's lasted a while. And the star card points to faith and healing. I've seen it come up for people who are kind of at the end of that, who are just, it's like coming out of a cave. Again, the same thing for water signs for the end of February. It's like coming out of a long tunnel, this long slog of challenge, burden, difficulty, pain, or something somehow, or maybe just a ton of work. And it's like you've all of a sudden come from the darkness into the day, and you're looking around, and it just, there's something about it that restores your faith. There's something about the successful conclusion or the panning out of this that really, at the end of the day, restores your faith in something. Maybe it's your faith in humanity, your faith in justice, because we do have that judgment card, your faith in the legal system, or your faith and belief and hope in something. You can see on the star card this woman is unreservedly dumping her pictures out into the water in perfect faith and perfect confidence that they will be refilled again, because the source is limitless. This is about trusting in God, the divine, the universe, your angels, guides, whatever your spiritual structure is, of knowing that as long as you keep putting forth good intentions, it will come back to you. This speaks of the wheel being on the upswing again for you after some struggle, and having faith and hope in the promise of that coming to fruition. If I could attach one word to this card, it would be faith, and closely followed by restoration, because there is a strong element of healing with this card as well. So Scorpio, it looks like whatever it is, this thing is that you've been pouring of yourself so much in and defending, and with honor and integrity. It looks like, it turns out it really is something to celebrate. It turns out working out better than you could ever have anticipated. And again, there's an unexpected element to it, unexpected blessings, unexpected positive expansion and growth that benefits not only you, but your loved ones in some way, or perhaps somebody that you're providing for, or a cause that you're working for. And it really ends up restoring uh, faith and peace and healing, and not only just you, but those of you for whom this represents working for a common cause or a goal of some kind that benefits people. It's going to help restore their faith and peace and their own sense of healing and restoration as well. And what a beautiful thing that is. Now, the card that represents your general theme and overall feeling of the last half of February 2016, your crowning card, the umbrella card as I like to call it, we have the Ace of Swords. Now, swords, the element is that of air, and swords is a suit that points towards our thoughts, our ways of thinking, our ideas, our perspective, our logic, our reasoning. It's a very mental and cerebral suit. It's all about what goes round up here. And swords are also a universal symbol of truth too. And the Ace of Swords really comes in and cuts away all the extraneous stuff to reveal and illuminate exactly what needs to be revealed and illuminate. Represents the beginning of the bringing of new ideas, a complete and a complete and successful shift in perspective in something, a whole new idea, a whole new way of looking at something. Very illuminating, cutting away everything where you're going, oh, I never thought about that, I never saw that before. And it represents a successful new beginning in something that has to do with whatever it is you're involved in. Aces also represent new beginnings, the seeds of things, the promise and potential of beautiful things to come. The Ace of Swords I actually see as the swiftest and most powerful of all of the four aces, because it just comes in successfully, cuts away everything that needs to be cut away. And there are some times where the revealing and illumination of something can be a little challenging or even a little painful. But you can look at it kind of as a necessary sort of surgery. It's what needs to happen in order for something to be revealed, and so that healing and restoration can begin. But for others of you, it's going to represent, this process that you've been through, and perhaps what ends up being the successful conclusion of it, or the successful jump into another aspect of it. The Ace of Swords has come in and it's cut away stuff. It's brought a successful new set of ideas, or just a shifting in perspective that's very profound, very significant, and represents the promise and potential of what can be built on. Aces representing seeds, which still need to be planted in the ground and nurtured and watered so that they can grow to fruition. But it looks like overall it's just about new perspectives, new shifting of ideas. And really, again, I'm just getting the strong feeling that whatever this is, whether it's something as big as working for a cause, or advocating, being a domestic abuse attorney, or even something as visible as that. And it can also just be something, that you're working on for your family that's very important to you, that somehow has to do with moral integrity and honor, and what's really good and what's really right, what you know to be the right thing to do. And it looks like at the end of the day, it ends so beautifully with that wonderful star card that speaks of peace and restoration and healing and the renewal of faith again. So Scorpio, what a beautiful reading. It feels, again, like the other water signs, the last half of February 2016 feels very profound and very impactful and very beautiful. And I'm so happy to bring you such a reading. I hope that it resonated for you, Scorpio, or at least gave you some wisdom and insight and clarity on the path to come, and maybe a little bit of aid in some decision-making processes, or at least to continue going. What you are working on is so important. Um, and I hope you've enjoyed the reading. Again, if you're interested in a personal reading, you can click on the About button on my channel's homepage for more information, or email me at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I am doing readings full time now, so I can usually work you in, at least for the time being, within 24 to 48 hours. So until I see you for the March 2016 general readings, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thanks for watching, Scorpio, and I'll see you later. Bye.